say of that endeavor?
Well, it will mean that the people have spoken and that we have a constitution made by ourselves, for ourselves.
You know, there were only about 490 delegates at that conference. Would it have helped if there had been a referendum after the conference, as some people were suggesting?
It could have helped if we have the provision for a referendum. But in our present constitution, we don't have provision for referendum. And that's why the Jonathan administration wanted to amend the law, asking the parliament if they could make a law for provision of referendum. So you see, the matter is, we did not start well. We should have cleared the way of what we are going to do with the proposals that may be contained in the report. If they have attacked that one first, maybe people will not realize it, they will pass it, and then when they pass it, it becomes law. In a democracy, if 1 million stood as we stood and passed anything there, it's not representing the people. The people have to accept it, either by referendum or by passing it as act of parliament. That is the order.
With the benefits of hindsight, was that conference what Nigeria needed at that time, and which probably doesn't answer today's questions?
I don't know. The government decided that was time. And you don't know what they have in mind. But the time was too short to pass through the stages I've just analyzed to you before it can be made law. So why do they allow it to be too short? I don't know. And since I'm not in government, I'll not be able to know the reason behind that. They couldn't have passed the matter into law within a such period of time when people are expecting Nigeria to go into general election.
And before we leave this issue of constitution and related matters, there has been a renewed clamor for the role of traditional rulers to be enshrined in the constitution. What difference would this make to the institution of traditional rulership?
The difference will be in the legitimacy of our position now, and many acts that we do that are very important, to save the country of trouble. But we do this spontaneously on invitation by government. If they don't call you to come and advise, you can't say you have an advice. And if you say so, they may ignore it. But if it's there in the Constitution, certain areas where the government can ask for advice of the traditional rulers, if it's created by statute, by law, then it becomes relevant and more strengthened. As of now, what we are asking for then was that we have a Traditional Council of Nigeria. And our job should be, all that may do will be not legislative and not judiciary. So, if it is not legislative and it's non-judicial, then it means it's purely on the culture and custody of our norms in Nigeria. And that would provide us with opportunity to provide advice to the president or the president council with his ministers. But then they can specify such areas where you can give advice, and that you shall give advice. If they put shall give advice, it means that you have the right to provide advice as and when called upon to do so. That is the kind of thing we could have created the highest type of people who will be solving problems when there is a crisis. I think we need it in Nigeria. And I think we need, all the countries that have something similar to us, use it, like Malaysia and other places. Indonesia, I think so.
You are one of the founding fathers of the Arewa Consultative Forum. Why are institutions like the Arewa Consultative Forum and Afenifere and Akai Kenga still relevant in the Nigeria of 2016?
First of all, they are not political associations. At least they are said to be not political associations. They are NGO, non-governmental organizations. But they are opinion gathering body. And that's, you can use whatever they say to gauge the feeling or opinion or needs of their own people. So the quality of what you get from them depends on the quality of the leadership.
You were presiding judge of the Lagos Division of the Court of Appeal, so before you came to the throne, so the judiciary is your constituency. There's been a call for reforms. What should we be doing to reform the judiciary, or what should we be doing to make things better?
You don't need to reform in the judiciary, except probably in the personalities, the judges themselves. You know, we have this National Judicial Commission, which is supposed to be the ruling body to decide on the fitness and capability of judges, at least to advise the Chief Justice. And all they need to do now is to make judges well educated, well attuned to their responsibility, and to be brave, to do justice without fear of people. If they can correct that aspect, I think our system of judiciary in Nigeria, I think, is the best in Africa. All that we need to improve is the manpower, the human element in the judgment. We should also aspire to give them recording machines so that they will not be using long most of the time. Otherwise, we have the materials.